If you ever hear footsteps in your house when you're alone, don't investigate. I did, and I wish I hadn't. I've lived alone for 3 years now. Same house, same routine, same quiet nights. It's a small 2-story place on the edge of town. Nothing fancy. The kind of house you rent because it's affordable, not because it's charming. Creaky stairs, thin walls, old wooden floors that complain when the temperature changes. I got used to the noises. At least, I thought I did. Every night, I followed the same pattern. Lock the doors, check the windows, turn off the lights, crawl into bed with my phone glowing softly in the dark. That night felt no different. Rain tapped gently against the roof. The clock on my phone read 2:43 a.m. I remember because I couldn't sleep. My mind was racing the way it always does when the house is too quiet. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, heavy, deliberate, coming from upstairs. At first, my brain tried to be logical. Old houses make noise, right? Wood expands, pipes shift, heat changes. But this wasn't a creak. It was a step, then another, then another. Someone was walking. I held my breath and listened. The footsteps stopped directly above my bedroom. And then, pacing began. Back and forth. Heel, toe. Heel, toe. Like someone thinking, waiting. I lay frozen under my blanket, staring at the dark ceiling. My heart thudded so loudly I was sure whoever or whatever was upstairs could hear it. I reached for my phone and turned on the flashlight, even though I didn't know why. The light made me feel less alone. I whispered to myself, "Get a grip, you're tired." Then came a sound that made my stomach drop. A floorboard creaked, not randomly, but under weight. Someone had stopped pacing. Someone was standing still, right above me. I sat up slowly, careful not to make a sound. My room felt colder suddenly, like the air had changed its mind about being warm. I whispered, "Hello?" The word barely left my mouth. The footsteps resumed. Faster now, not pacing, running. I heard them rush toward the staircase. And then, silence. No footsteps on the stairs, no door opening, nothing. I waited a full minute before moving, then another. When I finally forced myself out of bed, my legs felt like rubber. I grabbed the closest thing I could use as a weapon, a heavy flashlight, and stepped into the hallway. The house looked normal. Too normal. I stood at the bottom of the stairs, staring up into the darkness. The upstairs light was off, just like I'd left it. I hadn't gone upstairs in days. Slowly, I climbed. Each step groaned under my weight, loud enough to make me flinch. My flashlight beam cut through the dark, landing on empty walls and closed doors. No sign of anyone. I checked the bathroom, empty. The spare bedroom, empty. The storage room, empty. Finally, I reached the last door at the end of the hall. My bedroom door, upstairs. I don't use that room. I never have. I stood there, hand hovering over the knob, heart pounding in my ears. I don't know why, but something inside me screamed not to open it. I opened it anyway. The room was exactly how I remembered. Bare mattress, dusty dresser, closed curtains. But the air inside felt wrong, heavy, stale, like it hadn't been disturbed in years. Then I noticed the floor. Fresh footprints, bare feet, leading from the window to the center of the room and stopping right where I was standing. I stumbled backward, slamming the door shut. My mind raced through every explanation, break-in, prank, stress hallucination, but none of them explained the footprints. They were too clear, too real. I locked myself in my downstairs bedroom and didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, I called my landlord. He laughed, said the house was old, said noises travel, said I was probably imagining things. I didn't mention the footprints. That night, I stayed awake. Lights on, TV playing, phone charging. At 2:43 a.m. exactly, the footsteps returned. But this time, they weren't upstairs. They were on the stairs. Slow, descending, one step at a time. I watched the hallway, heart hammering, as the sound grew closer. Then, it stopped, right outside my bedroom door. Something scratched the wood, not knocking, scratching, like nails dragging lightly across the surface. Then, a voice whispered my name, in my own voice. Open the door. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. The scratching stopped. Footsteps retreated, up the stairs. I packed my things the next morning, moved out that week. I never went back upstairs. Sometimes, though, when I can't sleep, I still hear footsteps. And I don't live alone anymore. I never found out what was in that house. And honestly, I don't want to know. Some places don't want company. Some sounds aren't meant to be explained. And sometimes, when you hear footsteps upstairs while living alone, it's better not to investigate. If this story gave you chills, let me know by tapping the like button. It helps the channel more than you think. Subscribe for more late-night horror stories and comment below. What would you have done if you were in my place? Just remember, if you're hearing footsteps tonight, make sure you're really alone.